Oh, sorry, not sorry. We ain't even trying to apologize. Deal with it.
Welcome to the Warehouse 15, and we are here again with my comrades in arms. And I've got to start with, as it says in the beginning of the podcast, sorry, not sorry. If you're offended, change the channel, move on, do something else, because life is way too short for us to waste time with soft, as Mr. Coach Moreno would say, Charmin-like type people. So with that said, let me open it up. Last week was TJ, so I'm going to go with Mr. Juan Moreno. Coach Moreno, what's up?
Silver Juan. Yeah, I changed my name to Silver.
Why did you change it to Silver?
Because I'm just trying to fall in line. I think, I don't want to steal his little phrase, but, some of us have to own our failures. You know what I'm saying? Some of us own our failures. We can't walk around with a gold medal swinging around our neck all the time. Anyway, no, I'm good. But listen, I'm excited. I think we got a bunch of cool things to talk about, some funny stuff, maybe out the box. But yeah, it should be a good conversation. But actually, raining here in Miami today is kind of weird. But I got a testing today at my school, so I'm super excited. But yeah, how about you, TJ? What's up with you? Everything good?
Everything's good. Like you said, it's raining here too. It's been raining for like the last 4 days here, like nonstop. Today is light, but it's just raining and raining and raining, messing up my tennis skills and my tennis days, man.
What is this?
Chili season mango. I got the chili for you, TJ, and the mango for Mr. Moreno.
Yeah, but everything's good. Actually, speaking of testing, I had a chance last week to test my my three first white belts. I got 3 white belts at my school. Yeah, nice. Pretty cool. Kind of cool. They love it. I like that they like it so much. And I think I got a good batch. The first group is a good batch. The parents are super laid back and chill. They let the kids work. One kid never wants to leave. So it's exciting times and fun stuff, though.
But you tested them for yellow belt?
Will I test them for yellow belt?
You said you tested them.
Oh, yeah, for their white belts. I don't give them their white belts. So I made them do the basic stuff to get their white belts and understand like sliding, stepping, standing,
Damn.
Yo,
mine's like, yes, sir, no, sir. Take your shoes off and bow. Oh, here's your white belt.
Yeah, we just got into, last week we did I called it, just did high block and X block. Like I'm kind of doing, I told you guys before, a little bit more sport-based Taekwondo curriculum. So just kind of building it into something cool, something different. But it was exciting. It was kind of cool. They were happy. I got my new peak summer uniforms and they're walking around.
Bad, right? You want to wear one?
I can't do it.
Speaking of that, let me talk later on. Let's talk about real fast some of our new apparel. Oh, I thought someone mentioned you. Someone called you out, TJ. You.
Okay.
I'll give it a shot. But hey, Young. So let's talk about you. You got an event coming up this weekend.
This weekend we have our second
It doesn't matter if you have an event coming up. You know why? Because you, TJ, did you get an invite? Did you get a plane ticket, TJ? Hotel room.
I just heard about it as we got on this podcast.
Unfortunately, the tournament has not raised to a level. The tournament happens as the second year, and to be honest, the reason
No. Don't try to talk your way through this one.
Let me just tell you what's up.
Not a plane ticket, not a text message, not an email, not
I got Coach
signal,
Moreno coming in like 2 weeks later. I got to save money for that.
Crazy.
So
and another not invite for me.
Well, I got to bring you out. It's the Legacy tournament, and now you're going to feel bad after I tell you why. Because I started it because of our good friend and recently passed away, Jimmy Kim. He had his tournament every year, and it was suggested to me that I pick up the legacy of a gold medalist having a tournament in honor of both Jimmy and the idea of the Olympic thing. So last year I had a good friend of mine, Amatis Porian, decided to help me run a tournament because I have no idea, zero idea on how to run a tournament. She came in, her people came in, did everything for me last year. And this is the second year where they'll be doing everything again. Hopefully next year we'll actually make enough money so I can bring in, TJ, are you coming in? Do you come in by car or do I have to actually get you a plane ticket?
I'm Superman. I fly in.
I Greyhound, if you want to come in on Greyhound, I mean, I've got a Greyhound ticket sitting here waiting with your name on it. I'm going to try to get you a straight shot. I think they have those. If they don't, you might have to stop in Peoria. Do you know where Peoria is?
No, I don't. But
it's right next to Susquehanna. The Susquehanna hat
business class ticket. It's okay. No middle seats, business class.
You're
ticket.
cheaper than Tony. Tony's coming out for an event next year, and he's coming out from my friend, and he wants a first class ticket. I'm like, oh, it must be nice to be King Tony.
That's Mr.
So
Boosh.
he's learned from the best how to you get treated the way you allow people to treat you. But
Tony,
anyway, that's the
a great
legacy tournament
statement.
this weekend.
I like that one. That's
That's
great
it.
statement.
That's it.
It's a
So
great
today,
statement.
TJ, I'm going to treat you, not teach you. I'm going to treat you with the utmost respect, deserving of your. What is that shirt you're wearing while I'm saying this thing?
Don't disrespect
what
the
is
shirt.
that?
Come on.
What is it?
Come on.
What is it?
Come on. I'm not even going to
Who
explain
is
it
it?
to you.
Is that
Izzy.
Bongok? That movie, the
No.
Thai movie? What is it?
It's Izzy from the UFC. He's a middleweight champion, and there's
Oh.
a story. So he's got a bow and arrow, and he's letting it go because the guy that he fought, that's his thing. Every time he knocks somebody out, or he always like shoots him with the arrow.
Yeah, but I
And
saw
when
him get carried out of the ring. I saw this cat get knocked out.
So this is crazy. It's a crazy story because he loses to this Brazilian guy, and this little kid, the son comes in the ring and is kind of like making fun of him or something
Right.
like that. So the next time they fight, Izzy KOs this guy, and Izzy goes up to the cage, looks at the kid, and just goes and like dives, and then he shoots him with the arrow, like no mercy, no mercy.
What you think about that?
I love
Me?
that.
No.
Hey,
I think you got to
hey.
carry yourself with respect. No. Don't vanquish
I
the
get it.
warrior.
It would have been tempting in that moment though, because if you'd have saw the little boy like basically imitated him getting knocked out the first time and like kind of fell on the floor and kind of like laughing about it, because I think what's his
Oh, you
name
mean the
should've probably
kid?
reprimanded-
This is the one with the little kid doing it?
Yeah, the little
Oh,
kid
yeah, I
did it
saw that.
first,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then he
yeah,
went
yeah.
back
That's
and
not
knocked
good.
out his dad, and then did the same thing.
But now they're friends. Listen,
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
friends.
They're always
Alex
friends,
and
though.
Izzy, they're friends. Yeah, when you're done fighting. But I don't know. I say it. I would have. Listen, I probably wouldn't have done it because I know how I've been in a lot of weird situations that I've let it go. But when I saw it, I give him credit because Izzy's like, nah, man, you want the bull, you get the horns, homie. I don't care if you're a little kid, big kid, woman.
Did you
Man.
when you were competing? Did you have a lot of people that you would say were your friends? Like,
None.
yeah, that's what it was
Friends?
a different world, right? Yeah, like people like
Yeah.
in the same
No,
division from different places.
Not many people that I can say I was even friendly with.
I
I had a couple guys that I was friendly with, but friends, no. Dinner, no. Lunch, no.
I probably had one, but yeah, the same division thing used to be a little bit different. Holding areas were a little bit different. Teams were a little bit different. I'm not sure even like the teams were willing to cross lines because someone else on your team had lineups with the other person, so it was all out war. But that was fun.
Yeah. Hey, off topic, before we get into some Taekwondo stuff today, I got a question for you. Both of you guys. I know, TJ, you don't have kids yet. You have how old is your daughter, 15 or 16?
15.
15. Let's just, in the future, she's 17, 18. She goes on her first real date with a boy, picks her up, takes her to dinner, whatever. TJ, same thing, hypothetically. Do you expect your daughter to pay half? Or you think or what do you think should happen with the bill?
For the date.
For the dinner. Yeah, for the date.
Not for the hotel room. It's not that kind of date, TJ. Not for the hotel room. No.
You got
I
issues.
I
I
know.
swear to you, you got
I'm
issues.
just saying, like,
brain is
this
so
is all
twisted.
hypothetical and stuff. My daughter's never going to date, by the way, and she's never turning 16. So, just so we're all clear on that.
Hypothetically.
Nah, I come from a generation where that was normal. Like you pay for the first date, and I know now it's outrageous because you got people giving you the opposite. Well, these girls want to go to all these fancy restaurants and do this. Then I think you pick the restaurant. If that's the issue, if the issue is money, you pick the restaurant. But it's a cordial thing to do. It's almost the right thing to do. Because think about it. It's you asking a girl on a date, right? You're asking them to go to have dinner with you or lunch with you.
You're
blah, blah,
inviting
blah.
them. I wasn't even going to that point, but you're right. If I invite you to, hey, let's go get a beer, then I'm paying for the beer. If I invite you to my house, I'm probably making the food. I'm saying, hey, why don't you come to my house? Oh, by the way, bring this, and this. But anyway, I posed that question to somebody, on Facebook recently, and we go back and forth on some social issues. And,
Was this a Taekwondo question or just a date question?
It's just a date question.
Oh.
It was just I saw this. I saw it somewhere else, and I sent a clip to somebody. I said, "What you're thinking about this? Is it male toxicity? Toxicity? Is that the word? Toxicity? Or being chivalry? Having some chivalry?" And this man said, "Absolutely not. I don't need anybody, paying for my daughters or whatever." And I was like, I just was calling it being a gentleman. I'm not saying that you need to pay for them, but I'm just saying, first date, right out the box. I invite you. Like, man, it should be on me.
Every
day. Yeah.
So you go on the first date with all anticipation to pay, right? You're gonna pay like it's normal, and she pops up and was like, "No, I got the bill." Do you let her pay?
You know what? I personally, I probably would not, but I can understand that. I can understand that, but I'm going the opposite, like expecting it. Like, do you have $50, sweetie? You know, I mean that's what I'm saying, because you know what?
I don't think I would ever. There's no way you could ever ask like, "Hey, you got half of this?" Like, I don't think I could ever get to that point.
This thing that I was talking about, yes, that's what it was, and I'm just like, listen, again, I asked you guys off the air. You know, TJ, I've been out with you a billion times. The same thing with you, Young. Like, TJ, you could probably count on the top of your, off of one hand how many times I've asked you to pay. Or Young, I've been with you a million times and you've never said, "Hey, you got this one." It's just sometimes it's a friendship thing or a gentleman thing or just a courteous type of thing. But I wasn't following that logic right there. So I don't know, just kind of off topic.
I'm a little bit even older school than that. I don't think you ever not pay. So I think, we come from a culture, and I was speaking yesterday. I had dinner with Simon Ree from Best of the Best.
How was it?
Amazing, great. And then James Liu also, choreographer and performer extraordinaire, and the two of them, just a wealth of knowledge. And we were talking about culture and the way you act and the things you do and the things you say. And then, I always tell them the same thing I say to people. If I meet somebody who doesn't understand the culture of what we do and how we do it, I let them, they'll tap me on the shoulder and say, "Hey, what's up, Herb?" And I'll look at them. "Nice to meet you." And I walk on the other side of the room and I never talk to them again. And, with seminars or whatever it is. And I went out to dinner with them last night. Really nice Thai restaurant here in San Francisco. They're here for a beauty contest that they're judging. And we were talking about this very thing. And at the end of the day, you either understand the rules of what we do and how we do it, and you behave accordingly, or you don't. And if you don't, that's okay. Then you're not part of our world. That's the way it is. So if I met a young man that was going to date my daughter, and he wasn't picking up a check, he wouldn't be dating my daughter a second date. Yeah. It's just the way
this guy was the opposite. This guy was the opposite. He's like, if this guy's doing that and can't let my kid, and he's like, that's not the kind of man I want him to be with.
Then that's good. Then that's good for him. But I on the other hand, I would prefer to pay for both of their dates. Like, if that's the issue, and you got and there are times in my life where I was young and I had money issues. I was in the band and I ran out of money, and we're waiting for the next gig, and whatever, and that's life. But I didn't go on a date. Yeah, I didn't go on a date. Yeah. You don't go on a date unless whatever, or invite somebody over. And it is what it is. So TJ, we've been on a lot of dates together. I never made you pay for those dresses you wore. Jesus. I paid for those special ones. See, there I go. I couldn't help myself. And I know you're going to have to pop off. You're going to have to pop off in a moment.
I told you one day. I'm going to save it.
You know what it is? It's that
you're going to say something nice, and then I'm going to lose my mind.
Did you?
I don't know how you hate on this guy. Shout out to my guys.
Did you make that shirt? Did you buy that shirt, or you had it made? Like, you went through the trouble?
Someone gave it to me. Someone gave it to me. I would never. I don't.
Is it because you look like him? Is that you?
That was the reason why. It's the energy he embodies. It's the killer instinct he embodies. It's the pick yourself up and go back at it again. It's the don't let nobody break your spirit. I like. Let me
ask you. I'll ask you one question before we get on to the next topic, which is, who do you fear more, a guy like that, or do you fear a guy who shows no emotion, like just comes in, does his job, you can't read his face, he's just serious? Because I remember watching most of us fight. I don't remember us like overly celebrating, being boisterous before we fought, and certainly not after, at least, not me for sure. So I think that's the guy you fear more. Like, it's funny because as we all get older, the stories of who we were and what we did get bigger and better than they really were. But everybody I talk to, or people, when I see comments about me, they're like, dude, that guy was brutal. He was heartless. He was mean. And I wasn't any of that. I just had a certain way I approached. Like you said, we don't have friends when we fight. I didn't boast at the end of a fight. I knocked the guy out. I looked at him. I went back to my line, waited for the ref to raise my hand, and I left the arena. I didn't go, and none of this stuff either. So anyway, just something to think about.
I think that's a great question. I think it's a generational thing. I mean, when I started Taekwondo, to be honest with you, taught to show no emotion. We were taught if like you guys clash legs and you fall, you lost. Like you didn't get the fall, you didn't get the hurt. If you guys bang shins, the person you look at each other and
Did
you
you
see who
start with
got hurt.
Patrice? Did you start with Patrice?
I started Kim's karate, and then he came like a year into my Taekwondo career. So so basically, when I started Olympic sparring, he's the one that kind of drove me to do the Olympic sparring stuff. So, but I think that's another thing, and I agree with you. It's the person that you don't know, the person that you can't read is the scariest person in the room. You know what I mean? The ones that give you nothing, and that's why sometimes I watch some of these current athletes or just athletes in general. I feel like they're overexposed. I feel like they share a little too much. It kind of takes that appeal and that scariness away from them. You know what I mean? But I think I talked about it last week about wanting to feel what's it called? Relatable. I think as a fighting sport, I don't think you ever want to be relatable. I want you to think I'm the scariest person in the world. I want you to think I'm willing to do things you're not to win, you know? But I think that's a generational thing. I think that's when we talk about old school Taekwondo mentality type thing, we couldn't, if I knocked someone out that I was better than, I would never give them the satisfaction of me acting like it was a big deal. That's where it starts. If it was, you have your big moments against big people, but like, you celebrate those big moments against big people. But like you said, the ones people you knock out or you just kind of beat to a pulp that you knew going in, they weren't on your level. I don't think it's the proper etiquette to like go out there and try to showboat and spin and jump around and do all this extra stuff to close out a match when you're up 13 points. Like it's silly to me. But
I have a saying. I mean, obviously it's a long time ago, and again, we all have our moments where we're like, yeah, whatever. You're right. I'm kind of closing my eyes and thinking about it. I don't remember you doing that at all. And I've had a couple moments where I've kind of given some good energy. But I used to have a saying with my guys, my athletes. I used to say like, act like you've been there before. Don't act like you're surprised that you just won the team trials. And I remember I had this one athlete, one of my best young female athletes, and she made the junior team. She had some bad luck, injuries, whatever. So she finally makes the team. And when she made the team, I was like, yeah, like that. And she walked up to me. She's like, act like you've been here before, and walk right past me. I was like, oh, it is Alexis Martinez, right?
That's funny. Only could be Alexis.
It's funny because she ended up winning the Pan Ams, and I coached her against my wife. My wife was coaching
my gosh.
in 2010. But anyway, it's just, you're right. To your point, TJ, you got to act like you've been there before. I mean, we got to celebrate the victories and stuff like that, but maybe it's a little bit too much nowadays. People celebrating not really important victories, So I don't know. I mean, it's that I think this kind of segues us into maybe another topic. I want to go a little bit down the road, but let's get on this big new thing right now, TJ.
What's that?
This
3,
trial
2, 1?
of the trial of the new points. 3, 2, 1.
What do you think?
No headgear. No, I'm sorry. No head point reviews. I mean,
what do you think?
I mean, I'll say this off the air because he'll go nuts. Once again, I think it's protecting some of the referees. It's taking things out of their hands, and I've heard that the video review on these extra technical points when they don't come up takes too much time. I would agree, but then I go back. Why is it taking too much time when these guys should have pushed the button? That's when they spin, they should be pushing the button no matter what. If it scores, it scores. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's no harm, no foul. But if you do nothing and it happens to hit, this is where we have the problem. So I think it's another protection to referees, which I think is a problem. The 3, 2, 1. I saw somebody.
Sorry, I had to go off for a second. I'm back. I have a Jeep that I bought when my son was born, and Jeeps have the world's worst angled windshield for rocks. And every time I lend my car to a staff member or somebody, they always somehow manage to get hit with a rock. So
that's on purpose, man. You better pay them. You better pay them more.
Dude, I pay him a lot. I pay him that. You can't. I don't want. I love all my staff members. It is what it is.
We were talking about the new scoring system where they're going back to 3, 2, and 1 points during the action, and then no head reviews. I think you said
explain it to me.
So 1 point for punch, 2 points for body, 3 point for head. No bonus points for turning to the body or to the head.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're gonna try it. I think it's the German Open. They're gonna test it at the German Open and see if it works. It's interesting for two reasons. because I think I'm very big on like, how did we get here in the first place? We went from that system because they wanted it to be more exciting. They wanted more points on the board. They wanted to be more spectator friendly. And now we're using the same reasoning to go back to 3-2-1 so the spectators can understand. And then they say it's because the video reviews, like, that's where I get lost. It's just that we're just bouncing back and forth at this point. I think the worst part about it is, go ahead.
No, go, please.
I think the worst part about it is the no head reviews and they're saying, oh, it takes too long. I think I talked to you a while back, Coach, and I said I would propose something that they had someone at the table that only watched for head kicks. Your only job is to watch the fight for a head kick, and if it doesn't score, immediately they can go like this or they can go like this. And once they go like this, if the coach thinks it touch, then the coach can use his card. But it shouldn't take that long. Some of them are bad. Some of them, I guess, how do I go? Because I can look at the other side of it too, because we've all seen the spins and the touches to the helmet where we go back and watch a video review for the toe. Mm-hmm. I don't think we should be doing that.
Yeah.
I think that's
so I think you got two things. I mean, you're one. I find it very interesting that they're going backwards because they haven't walked anything backwards, right? I mean, when there was only a few opens with G1s and G2s, and now there's G2s everywhere. They have, the points from 1 and 2 to 1, 2, and 3 to 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. They haven't walked anything back. So for me, having them walk this back is really, really interesting. I've been told it's because of the video review. I've also been told they showed me data. They showed me data, like, for example, on a day of competition, it was like 1.6% of the points scored, of the kicks scored, were because of somebody spinning. And then the second day was less than 1%. So what they were saying is, it's not like people are doing it anyway. People are doing it at the end when they're losing by 4 points, spinning kick to the head, and they're getting what you said, TJ, a scrape. They're doing the version of a Hail Mary and hoping that someone catches it in the end zone, and then they win the match. So in some senses, I go, I'm glad that they're not going to give these 5 points and let someone, after I had 2 body kicks and a punch, and then all of a sudden, with 1 second left, you do a spin hook kick where there's a clinch and it wraps on my head, and you win the match. Like, that's just crazy because it's 5-5 and you win the tiebreaker. I really don't like that. So I can get behind that, but the video review, unacceptable. Unacceptable because we see the scratches, but we also see people's headgear get in the other ring and nothing goes off. I mean, we see people's face get smashed and nothing. So if I had an error,
go ahead.
If I had an error, I would error.
Sorry, I think this will be interesting.
You told him to go ahead, then he started to go ahead, and then you interrupted him.
Thank you. You and interruptions are crazy. Once again, second craziest thing you've said today. No, I was going to say, I guess when you say, it kind of covers the referees, I think it gives them, when we talk about power, I don't like using the word power to the referees, but I think it gives them more options to affect the match. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because what's going to happen is someone's going to get nipped, and it's going to be the deciding factor, and they're going to count. And you're going to see someone get rocked, and there's going to be no count, and everyone's going to lose their minds. It's inevitable. Yeah.
So they're doing this what they're going to do is they're going to try this at the German Open, and they're going to just kind of keep the data. And the data is going to say, I always use this. I say this all the time. When people go, the data says this. The data, you can use data any way you want. In baseball, if somebody's a 300 hitter, they are a successful hitter when you're talking about baseball. But if you think about, if me and you want to talk about it, they struck out 7 times and they got 3 hits. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, data can go whatever you want. I think they're going to make the data show that it functioned. It was efficient. It worked. Everybody was, could follow it. And I'll be curious, TJ, if they try to get this in the World Championship. If not the World Championships, the Grand Prix. And I'm going to tell you why.
Don't forget about the punching.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get there.
Yeah. But because they announced in the beginning of the year, TJ, that Dado was going to be the World Championships. And guess what? They just walked it back. Now it's KPMP. Imagine you're Dado. Again, I'm not a fan, but imagine you're Dado and you've been marketing it this and building more program, whatever, for the World Championships. And all of a sudden they pulled it. But they had their They had
That
their reasoning.
folly, yeah, that folly at the Grand Prix challenge in Charlotte was a weird one. Like I know we talked about it, I won't go too far back, but to say they changed the settings on their own because they didn't like what it looked like or how it was scored. I
Bad.
mean, if they're
Bad
right
look.
or if they're right or wrong, it doesn't matter. I think that's not a conversation. It's a conversation you have to have and not something you just do on your own. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this is the same thing. Wasn't the last Olympic Games supposed to be data and they switched to the KPMP? We've seen this before. This is the second time they
No,
switched it out, no?
no. It was still up in the air at the time.
Mm.
Remember, Dado was the only one that was with Swiss timing. And in the Olympic Games, your configuration of your programs have to work with Swiss timing, which is governs all the Olympic sports and track and field and everything. And at the time, Dado's system was the only one that matched up with it. Since then, KPMP has elevated their systems, and now there's two. So, yeah, but it's a big. I guess my point is it's a big change for that. I've never seen them walk it back like that in the past. And so now for them to do that, now for them to be talking about doing a test event at a G-rated event, I mean, in the same year, I tell you what, there's some stuff coming down. I mean,
I said I want to
they
be
don't.
there. Someone was laughing at me, like, why would you want to be there? I was like, I want to be in the middle of the junk because it's gonna be an interesting one. And I know we were just talking about it, but like the punches are electronically scored now. Oh, scored and then confirmed by the referees, right? That's what it
So
is.
this is something you okay. We can't dispute a body shot, right? We see some bombs, and we can't go that should have went off or a scrape. No, that wasn't the point. So if we're being consistent, that's what they're going to say about the headgears. Hey, you can't judge the body, so you can't judge the head. But everybody was saying, yeah, but the head is different because when you see someone get kicked and their face move, how do you explain that to the audience? So now let's go to the punches. There's nothing else in Taekwondo where you have to get confirmation. That's the point. If that was the case, 90% of the body points wouldn't be scored, right? The spinning kick. So, but again, that spinning kick's done now. They're not,
Yeah.
and that's not true. They're not confirming that it's scored. They're confirming that it got the technical points. So all of a sudden, again, you said, I'm going to say protecting referees. Like, what if there's a big giant punch and it registers and the referees don't push it, right? I mean, think about that. Now we're deciding a match because someone decided that punch wasn't good enough. The chess figure said clearly it was good enough. Man, we're all over the place right now.
I think they're
All
gonna
over the
follow.
place.
I think they're gonna follow the board though, because I think the point of doing that is like so. Back when I think it was German Open, also when they ran those Adidas Hogus a long, long time ago, the
Yeah.
pressure ones.
Yep.
The same
Yeah.
thing. People got into the clinch and were just punching each other in the stomach, and it was just going on. So what's gonna happen is I think they're gonna watch the board. Someone's gonna do something weird. Watch the board. It'll light up, and they'll confirm it. I don't think they're. What I think what's supposed to happen is they're supposed to see if it's a legit punch, right?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be if it's like an
Because
actual punch.
because
Blah
they
blah
don't
blah.
want that. Because you're right. The flip side of it is you can't do that with your foot. You get close and go like boom, 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 and I'll go ga. So they can't do it, so they gotta confirm it. I get the
Yeah.
logic. But let's say no one's doing that crap. Let's say people are just boom. And it's a good one. Boom. It goes up, but the referees go, yeah, I don't think so. Not today, buddy. Not today,
Today, buddy.
USA. Not today, Brazil. Not today, Iran. Not today, Russia. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. It's just so we're doing confirmation. We're no headshots review taken away. It's wild.
So,
no
so
headshot review is
what's
the worst part.
reviewable now by what can you review by video?
Well, in this event, it would only be deductions that you receive. I can review any deductions. I didn't hold. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. I didn't do it. And also on the other person, kicking after break, falling, or going out of bounds. Right?
So it's not really about. So let me just give you a historical on the scoring system because it wasn't created by Koreans. It wasn't created by anybody. It was in fact opposed by the Koreans. It was created by Dr. Kapner and I when we were the vice chairs of the membership of the technical committee, and I was chair of the education committee, and he was vice chair of the technical committee. So the idea was Koreans like to punish. That's what their methodology is. They don't understand rewarding. They understand punishment. So they spent a lot of time educating people. They had no idea. So my point was, if you want to, and this is still valid, if you want to see more complex techniques, the only reason, unless I have an amazing Notabon, there's no reason for me to throw one. And if technically there's no reason, because if I can score a round kick and it's the same point as a Notabon, why would I take that risk unless it was just for a totally strategic reason? Why would I throw a back kick against a round kick? Because round kick almost inevitably, unless you have an amazing back kick, scores. And so the idea was, if you want to see better technique, you want to see high-level techniques, reward it, just like you do in diving. If you do a certain dive, you get a 3.5, whatever, 1.5, whatever. You jump in the pool, you jumped in the pool. In this situation, that meant if you round kick the body, that should be worth a certain amount of points. If you don't want to value punches because they frustrate the game, that should be worth less. If you want to see, in a situation, round kick, back kick, for example, round kick is a lot easier, doesn't require, you don't lose sight of the target, you don't have to do whatever. Back kick is the right counter. So in that situation, if I round kick you and hit you and you back kick me and hit me, it should be 1-2. I get the superiority on that. Because it's a harder technique to do, and it's the idea of Taekwondo. If you kick the face and you wanted to see more face kicks, that's why we rewarded face kicks with more. The idea of adding the bonus points for spinning, that wasn't our idea. We were really simple. That was after us. Ours was, you want to see this, reward this. Now
you were saying 2 points for back kick. You were saying.
If you round kick, back then we weren't even saying that. We were saying round kick, back kick, anything to the body, 1 point.
Yeah.
Same. Notabon, that came later. Face kicks were higher. My point was 1 for a punch, 2 for a body, 5 points for a kick to the face. You want to see face kicks? Make them 5 points. And then you'll see more.
You guys never envisioned a scratch.
No.
5 points.
This is based on the old system of scoring. So now we were able to get 1, 2, and 3, and the 1 really didn't matter because the 1 never happened. Punches. Nobody was scoring punches. Yeah. So you really were looking at 2 and 3. Somewhere in that mix, there was a 4.
Early on, it was 1 and 2.
1 and 2. Early on.
Yeah.
And this was when we left the room because Daewon Moon, love him, David Moon from Mexico, went in and didn't do it. He was outvoted at the technical committee, so he went into the meeting and didn't put forward our proposal. I stood up and said, I'm sorry, that's not what we voted on. I got up and left the room.
I think 3, 2, 1. I'm not going to say I support it. I'm going to say I don't support it. I'm curious to see because it could bring back, you're right.
Yeah.
People doing real back kicks and real stuff,
Yeah, but let me ask you a question. Does it work? Does it really work? This is the equivalent of, like, I left for a minute because my windshield got hit with a rock, right? And on a Jeep. And this is a great example, actually, now I think about it. Jeeps, historically, get broken windshields and chips because the angle of the windshield is just wrong. It's too straight. So you have choices. You can continue to fix the chips or you can replace the windshield, but it doesn't matter. You're dealing with the symptom and not the cause. You would be better off to get a different car because you can't fix the windshield on it. This is the same story here. This is, again, an attempt to deal with a leaky bottle that's got a hole in the bottom, and you're changing the covering of the bottle. Should we have a blue bottle or a red bottle? Should we put a different sticker on it? So this, I don't see it how this solves the problem as long as you're using the same scoring system.
I guess my question to you, because you just said, what did you just say? You said that if you want to see more face kicks. I guess that's the part I lose. I don't vibe on that part. Like, I know we always talk about it a little bit, but you hit someone in the face because their hands were down. You spun on them because their off the line was too slow. You made them miss because they started too slow. There was reasoning behind doing it. Since we started trying to change our game to appease the crowd, or because we want to see something more, or because we wanted to be this, is where I think we got all mixed up.
That wasn't, but you're not wrong, but you're wrong only in this sense. You're thinking of the current dynamic. We're not talking about the face kicks that you're seeing now. We're talking about the face kicks that when back in the day,
but even before to change or do something, because if you want to see, the question is supposed, do you want to see more face kicks? Obviously, because it's more exciting. We want more knockouts. We want to be this sport or this art or whatever you call it. People got knocked out because they sucked, because they didn't have their hands up, because they made bad choices, because they went too short. That was why people got knocked out. That's why you knocked people out, right? It wasn't because you got more points to knock them out. You did what you did because you saw the opportunity to knock them out. So my thing is, when we started changing the game to appease, whether it be the crowd, whether it be the Olympic Committee, whether it be whoever's sitting in a room with the conversation, is where we went wrong. I used to fight guys all the time that, like, I knew for a fact if I got to the third round with this guy and it was 1-0, I might be in trouble. Because that was his style. He was going to stay back. He's going to control the match. He's going to limit the action. And then in the third round, he's going to try to steal it. And I knew this going in because we fought a bunch of times. So I knew I had to be up by 3 points going into the fourth round. I knew if I'm up by 3, up by 4, and when it was 1 point, obviously, up by 3, up by 4, it was a coasting round. He wasn't going to come get me. But he won a lot of matches doing that to people. And I think you've eliminated a certain style or a certain creativity in people's minds to win matches by going, well, if you want to see more face kicks, there's a lot of people that weren't flexible back in the day either. You know what I mean? There are a lot of people that just weren't flexible, but they beat people and people that were more explosive, faster. I'm going to use an example, and I'm going to say, I think Tim Thackeray, for example, I think he was good. But I think his skill set was limited. But he got out there with people that did a lot more than him, and he came back home winning because he had a style that worked for him and things that worked for him. He didn't go, I got to go kick to the face. I got to go do this. I got to go do that. Because why? Because they're going to score more points for it. I think that's where we went wrong. And I know maybe that's not the best example, but I hope you guys get my point.
Listen, I think in the old days, again, I want to talk about some old school, new school, because someone mentioned it, but I don't want to get there yet. But just, to wrap this up, look, at 3, 2, 1, I think people will do things for the right reasons, Like, for example, again, you said, why would I back kick if I can just roundhouse kick? Because the guy comes off the line to you and you cover, you back kick, or you back kick on a timing, just because it's the right thing to do. Or, you know what, I did a back hook kick because his hands were down, and so I spun hook kick. So I think in a weird way, this could take away from some of the fluff of Taekwondo and maybe bring some old school, better, what we've talked about, stepping and movement and trapping and thought processes through a fight versus standing there and pick your leg up or getting in the way. So I'm curious to see how it's going to be. I don't like the punch thing, and I don't like the video review thing or non-video review thing for the head, but I think this could be good. And I think it's going to mess up some people that try to steal the match at the end with a 5-point spin hook kick in the clinch that barely touches the head, or get in the clinch and do a little, face shot. I mean,
think about that. Most of the times, back when it was the point system was equal, or 1 and 2 and 3, whatever we're talking about. Most of the time, you would never get to the clinch and throw a back kick in the clinch.
Never.
You would never do it. You would never do it. You wouldn't create enough power. You would put yourself in a worse position because now your back's turned and you get whacked in the face. So
can I say something? And I'll let you finish.
No worries.
Half the techniques that I see being done in tournaments today, I would have been embarrassed to throw. I wouldn't have thrown them in a tournament anywhere. I did that goofiness when I sparred 5-year-olds. I'm embarrassed for the players who have to denigrate themselves and their abilities to do inside, outside round kick to the body, back hook kick to the body. I wish and pray to baby Jesus that one of these guys would show up at my school for a seminar and try to back hook kick me in the body. I pray to baby Jesus that they would try half this nonsense. I'm embarrassed for the players and anyone that opens their mouth about it. You should be embarrassed to have to do this. And there should be a revolution starting now to fix this. I can't use the word I'm thinking of. This truncated, this malintended, this misformed abortion of Taekwondo that they're forced to practice right now.
We'll get there. Let's move on to because
but let me make the face before I move on. TJ, back up a little bit. A little more. All right, I'm back. Go ahead.
No, so let's let that go. Let's move on to the next subject. So TJ Young, I know we've talked about how people are watching our podcast. I mean, actually in some other countries as well. I think it's pretty cool because I think I can't remember prior to this podcast seeing so many people on social media vent or discuss their displeasure with certain events or certain organizations. And I'm gonna say this. I don't think it's a good thing that we all go around and just try to bitch about everything. Me included, us included. But I think when people are raising valid points with facts, right? I think when people are raising valid concerns, I think it's an awesome thing. And I've noticed recently, going back a month ago with AAU, I just saw recently a big thing with USAT and PUMSA. I don't know anything about it, so I can't really comment on it. But it's a hot enough topic where there's just hundreds of people that are within that group, voicing their opinion. And recently, we talked about this ID camp that was coming up, and USAT, they actually had a talent ID camp, and they're having a current national team training camp, which I think is amazing for them. But we had preluded, we had talked about that, what is this going to consist of, and what are they looking for, and blah, 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 blah. And sure enough, they end up picking 4 athletes to, I guess, a tier 1, which is maybe some resident level, and then some tier 2 athletes. And
who's paying for the first date?
Yeah, probably SAT. But again, my point of this is it's interesting to see people on the internet, big time coaches, big time programs in California, wives, of that are coaches and or national team athletes, saying, what's going on? How did these people get invited and these people didn't get invited? Or how did these people get picked and these people didn't get picked? What was the criteria? What was this? And again, there's really not an answer. I don't want to beat up a dead horse, but my point, TJ and Young, is that I'm happy. I'm happy that we've created awareness. I'm happy that people are starting to speak out very loudly, more than they ever have before. And then I can remember. I don't know what your take in that, TJ. I know you're a little bit more in tune with the social media than maybe Grandmaster.
I agree with you. I think it's almost refreshing because sometimes even for me and being in the military for a while, like sometimes you do walk the line. You know what I mean? You do walk the line, and you pick and choose your battles because you're told to pick and choose your battles. And I think we've become a sport of that. You know what I mean? We take everything and keep moving, right? If there's no mats, we keep moving. If it's the ring sucks, we keep. We always do these things where we overcome and everyone goes home and doesn't say anything because we gotta go back again. And so it's refreshing to see like the coaches saying stuff. And obviously there's both sides of the token. You got guys going, hey, well, just keep working hard and maybe you'll get noticed. Is the craziest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Like, what does that even mean? Keep working hard and maybe they'll notice you. That started a long time ago. That come and show the national coach what a guy get noticed. What?
Yeah.
What? I go to nationals. I go to team trials. I go to states. I go to regionals. I go all these places. And we have first of all, I'm going to add in the national ranking thing that I think is absolutely crazy because I just saw an update on it and it makes no sense. We have a national ranking. So if we're talking about data and things like we got a national ranking of people where they fall. So
I noticed.
But to get
yeah.
But it is refreshing. I like that people are fighting for the sport that they love. Because I think we have a very strong culture in Taekwondo, like as far as like the love for the sport, because we do put up with a lot. We do go back and forth a lot. So to see people actually stand up for it because they want to be a part of it is pretty cool to me. And if we had 1% to do with that, I'm happy.
I'll just add to that. It's the frustration comes again. Listen, it's so subjective, and I think that's the frustration for some school owners that produce some pretty good athletes that support the organization. They're bringing big numbers. People are coming and they're paying their money, so they just want to know what's the roadmap. Tell me the roadmap so I can put my kids on, or not, or we get off. But when we don't know it, and then it does feel a little bit like some smoke and mirrors when the 4 people that got picked One lives out there. The other two have been out there numerous times, numerous times. And, there's one new younger one. Those are the four. So it almost feels like, yeah, that was kind of known. That was already pre-selective. So all you other, I don't know, was there 50 people there? You other 50 people, thank you for playing. Oh yeah, we'll do a tier 2. We'll invite you back. For you're eligible to come to a camp. Again, I don't know what tier 1 and tier 2 really means. I'm not gonna act like I do, but tier 1 is obviously future resident athletes there, and offered that. Tier 2 is probably training opportunities, just based on when I look at the age and the the level of and the success that group has had. And it's hard for me because I know there was national team athletes, Pan American Games athletes, young, 19 years old, at that camp that didn't get selected. They're not level 1 or not even level 2. Like, that to me is wild. That to me is wild, and I'll put the name out there. Again, I'm not advocating for her or not. Not my athlete. I got nothing to do with her. But when I see a girl like Caitlin Cox go out there, who's literally been on the Pan Am game team and is out there and is not even recognized as a level 1 and level 2, you tell me there's no upside? There's no future investment? Like, that's what these instructors are saying. They're like, wait a minute, my people have been there and you guys don't want them? You don't like them? There's nothing there for them?
So how do you?
Yeah.
So
And then
here's the.
and then the fence is, oh well, and like what I said about justifying, because they have their favorites and they have reasons to have their favorites. That's where we're wrong. This sport's not about favorites. I don't care if you like me or not. If I'm performing, if I'm willing to put myself in this situation and I'm performing, your idea of what's favorite or not favorite is crazy. I think you said that a while ago.
First of all, yes, but I'll listen. It's obviously not that. It's not that for coaches, or else you would be asked to help. It's not that for athletes because other people would have been asked. It is about favorites. It is about whoever that listens to them, whoever falls in line with them. Even these coaches that talk mad shit. And as soon as their athlete gets there, they're like, bravo, congratulations, USA. Thank you very much for all your support. I'm like, are you kidding me? So unfortunately, it is about their favorites. Because if not, I'm always pushing you up, but there's a bunch of other coaches that I like in this country that I can. I've always said I'm not a hater. I can give credit where credit's due. There's a bunch of programs out there that, again, whether I like them or not, I can look and say, good job. Yay, congratulations. I mean, wow, you got 5, 6 kids over here, and 4 of them make the cadet team or junior team. Good for you, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Sir, can you help? No, dude, whatever you're doing, great. That's awesome. That's sick. So it's not about results. It's not about performance. It's about who they like, who they want, who's going to fall in line. That's it.
And for those ones that think it's you guys talk shit about them, you guys say bad things about them, how would they work with you? I played this game before. I've stood next to them. I've helped with trainings. I've tried to hold stopwatch. I've done all the things to show my being a part of and trying to work into the system when I was in Colorado on that WCAP. You know what I mean? So for the ones, now they're gonna pick me. Honestly, the reality is there's no shot of me being able to work with them. Like it's impossible. It doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? So I know most people you guys talk bad. It is.
That's so unfortunate. I had a coach, nice guy, huge program. And he asked me, something at the AAU team trials. We're sitting there talking. He's like, have you had a conversation with them? And I looked at him. He's a little younger. I looked at him like, are you serious? He's like, I think you should go talk to them. I'm like, are you? I go, I'm sorry, but you must be crazy. The things that they've done to people like you, people that I love, like, there's no way. There's no, I mean, now I know that, for a guy like me, I can't speak for you, specifically, TJ, there is no coming back. You guys go your way, I go away. I'm going to throw rocks. I'm going to try to make it better. When they're gone, when it's over, maybe I have an opportunity to help, or maybe there's new people to come in. And it is what it is, but I have no desire. There's nothing they could say. There's no, I'm sorry. We're good. You guys go your way, I go my way. But when I bring this conversation up just based on stuff that I'm seeing from, on social media and people that call me and DM me and say, what about this? What about that? I feel like I got to keep advocating and fighting for them. I mean, again, I got nothing to do with USAT, nothing, zero, but for those people, I can't stop. I mean, that's how I was built. Young, you knew me before I was anybody. You knew me before when I had the most basic martial art uniform on. Didn't have a paddle. I didn't even know what a freaking paddle was when I first started this thing. So you saw me at my most, what do you call it, introductory level. And I was always a fighter. I always stood up for what I believe. Even when I was on a team and I was 17 years old, I didn't succumb to certain things that people asked me to do. And here I am, 40 years later, and I'm not going to change, who I am.
Well, it's better, as you know, and it's a famous saying that we all live by. It's better to die on your feet than live on your knees. And there are a lot of people in USA Taekwondo that are living on their knees and have their hands on the table and have a pillow.
Oh, yeah.
In their mouth. And I would prefer to be, TJ, I see you trying to figure out what that means, but I'll send you a video. And I know your time is limited, so I know today you have.
We're good.
You sure? I thought you had like a hair appointment. All right. So I know there's some other topics we want to get to. I know you kind of, is there?
I need a haircut.
Dude, I got to get a haircut too. Listen, on this thing is the thing on this.
Sorry, that was a rant by me, so I apologize.
No, it's not wrong. On this spot, remember, you have to ask yourself a question simply on this one. Do you want performance or do you want disciples? So if you want disciples, then they're doing what they always do, and their results are. Now, the only reason to allow a coach or a program or a director of a program to choose is if they have a pattern and a history of success. So this may not be the right name these days, but Bello Caroli, when he was the guy because he could identify talent, he could develop talent, right? And I don't want to talk about all the stuff that came after, just simply he was known for developing talent. So if he said this is the person, you were 99% guaranteed this would be the person. So I can say in this particular situation, there's no Bello Caroli, except certain aspects of it, at USA Taekwondo. There's not in the leadership, there's not in the development, there's not in the program of sport development, there's none of that. USA Swimming has historic and systematic success, sustained competitive excellence, because they have a good eye for identifying talent. And most recently, like I keep talking about at least once a podcast, in another sport, I watch these academy directors or scouting coaches go out and scout athletes. And they have a good eye for seeing the potential of a kid or where a kid is at. Anybody can identify a kid where they're at. Anybody can poach an athlete. But can you see in the raw form athletic ability, talent, sport IQ? And if you can, and passion and perseverance and determination, then you're worthy of something. So in this particular situation, I'll just simply point to the medal count. When you point to the medal count and you talk about the thing that TJ is the last living legend of a man who has won an Olympic gold medal, since the three of us that have done it, is it four of us, that a few of us that have done it, what is it that is different? Since TJ, who they didn't develop, they haven't won an Olympic medal. So, and these are the guys that you're entrusting with the program. And so, America, wake up. All these guys that are sitting around learning how to do weasel kick to the testicles, wake up. You're in the room because you bow and scrape to a mediocre and substandard coaching program, coaches, and development system. Now, like you said, Coach, if that's the way it's going to be, you don't need me. I'm too smart to be in the room. You don't need me to tell you what's going on because you won't even understand the words coming out of my mouth. They don't need you. And the reason they don't need you is they're not interested in success.
Yeah.
They're interested in supplication. So anyway, enough of that. My rant for today.
What you say, TJ? You were about to jump in earlier.
No, I don't remember. I'm good.
Were you able to change that appointment?
I just agree. No, I just agree. And I mean, it's like I said, I hate going like, well, this. I mean, it has to be the case. Like it doesn't make any sense. I mean, someone was saying like, and I use an example online. I know, and again, I'm like you, Coach. Before, and same thing with you. I tried to stay away from arguing with people on Facebook. I really, really do, because I know it always goes left, right, up, down, and you got a bunch of people talking that have no idea what they're talking about. Zero idea what they're talking about. And they
A
know they're
lot.
the ones that have the most to say, right?
Yeah.
But someone raised the point of, they have kids that are winning right now, and instead of investing in the ones that are winning right now, they're choosing people to develop past that point. And I use the example in on one of the Facebook posts. I mean, this has been the case. We've had people that were dominant in divisions that trained in different rooms that we not didn't welcome them in. And I ran past this video 7 years ago of them saying how they were going to include and be inclusive of the coaches and get the buy-in from the coaches and the people, and it was going to be this grand thing, and they were going to return us back to the glory days. Return us back to being dominant like we should be. That was 7 years ago, my people.
When was the last time that the U.S., not a particular athlete, there was one athlete that was dominant, one athlete, but before that one athlete, who was the only athlete, by the way, when was the last time the U.S. was dominant in Taekwondo? I know when it was.
Again, to TJ's point, is first of all, they wouldn't even know. Anybody in that room wouldn't even know what they're talking about.
They can't get the result. I went to the website because somebody sent it to me. They can't get the results right. They listed on their own website where they finally admitted there were Olympics before 2000 or whatever, and they put up the site. I'm laughing because they put silver medals. They don't put them correctly. They put gold medals. They don't put those correctly. But finally, at last, I went to the USAT website and I said, "Oh, they're going to acknowledge the fact that I exist now." And some of the other people in this room.
Finish. I want to see where you're going with this. When you talk about you saw the video of what they said.
Oh yeah, just like the sell of coming in and working with the coaches and helping develop athletes, the kids from the bottom, figuring out pathways for them to get to the top. It's been 7 years, and this is our second attempt at the talent ID camp. This is the second time. I've heard too many horror stories. Like the first time, I think there was like 125, 150 people in the room.
Yep, and now it's
nobody got feedback. No one got feedback, and there was no next step to most of that. Most of them received emails months and months and months later saying stuff like, "Oh, I think they need to be more this when they spar." Like, go ahead.
At the end of the day, you lived it as a coach when you were with the WCAP. You had the number one guy in the country who was damn good. It was really good.
Pan Am game medals.
Pan Am game medals, and he has a world of potential, but they didn't want anything to do with that person. They had their own person they were going to develop. Now, meanwhile, I think 3 or 4. I know 3 for sure. I know they had 2 fin weights and a flyweight because they brought in and Daniels. Yes, at least 3 that were supposed to supplant that guy, and none of them did. Okay, why not just work with the person? I think that's the frustration of some of these coaches. They're like, "Hey, I have national team athletes." Okay, you want to look down the road and say someone may have more potential, but in the meantime, help these guys reach their fulfillment. Help them reach their maximum potential. So.
And he made a good point about the work ethic and the passion. Like sometimes you can't. Those to me are more important when they're younger than any skill set they have. You got a kid that's committed to the sport. You got a system that supports them to be committed to the sport, and they're successful at the level they are. If we're not investing in those guys, then we're just joking.
But the USA Taekwondo Academy it should be from the USA Taekwondo. By them having the academy, it's a private club. So they don't have to take it. If it was for the national team athletes, anytime someone makes the national team, they should be able to go out there. And they should be able to get paid to go out there. But it's not. Matter of fact, they will push aside the national team athlete. Someone that won their team trials, did everything that they asked them to do, won their team trials, and they say, "You know what? No, we'll take somebody else further down the road." So it's just, again, where I understand the frustration of these coaches, because they're like, "I've done what you've asked. I put my kid on the team, and you take somebody else." So, neither here nor there. I mean, I'll let that one go. Like I said, I'll never stop fighting for some of these coaches and some of these athletes because I think what's right is right. I know there's no perfect system. I'm not a perfect guy. I wouldn't be a perfect administration person, but we got to do better. 7 years in, got to do better. Last subject, real fast. We got a couple of minutes. I got to do it. I'm going to bite. Bite. Someone brought up the old school, new school, old school, new school would whoop the Ready, Young? Whoop the old school guys ass every single time, and somebody mentioned your name.
My name? What did they say about me?
They said you would get whooped.
Well, it would be, I welcome them. I'm 65. They're welcome to come to the school, whoever they are. If it's the individual that I'm thinking about, his mouth shouldn't open, because I think was it the kid that has a father that used to fight?
I don't know who said it.
Oh,
No,
okay.
it wasn't him.
It wasn't him.
He brought up the post, but he didn't say that.
I don't.
Else.
You know what I learned a long time ago?
An old person.
Yeah, you know what the best part about me being me is, and I say this with all humility, and I was talking to my son about it, the way he should act and behave, which he does anyway, because he's a good kid. Don't worry. Never turn around and look backwards. And the reason you don't have to turn around and look backwards is the people behind you are ankle biters. They can't catch you. So they're trying to grab you and they're biting at your heels as you're passing them. And the one thing that never gets old is being the best at something and being number one, because the view is beautiful. There's nobody in front of you. All you do is see the tops of people's heads. So when you stand on top of the podium, or you're number one, or you're the best in the world, you're always going to get ankle biters. I can tell you with some assurity, without even know the individual who would be so toothless as to try to take that particular approach. My friends will send him a note and explain who I am and what I did. He couldn't possibly know who I am. And I have a general rule when it comes to people like this. When people tell me that, if I had asked you his name, I can guarantee you I don't know his name. And I can guarantee you he knows my name. And so my rule goes like this, and you guys should hold on to this one. Somebody tells me about somebody in Taekwondo, and they say, do you know this guy? And I say, I don't know that name, so it's probably pretty possible he doesn't matter in my sport, because if he did matter, I would know his name. I said, but ask him if he knows my name. And if he doesn't know my name, then he definitely doesn't matter in my sport. And so that's kind of the way I look at these ankle biters. I would love to. I don't
understand the debate.
Well, I mean, there's not a debate. Anybody that talks about old school versus new school Taekwondo, I'm not talking about the athletes. Athletes today, certain athletes today, given the opportunity to compete in the form of Taekwondo that we did, if they're good athletes and smart, they would have adapted and changed their game to become good and smart at what we did. And there were guys like you, Coach, all of you changed your game as you competed, as the system changed, to be successful in the system that it was today. The better question, perhaps, or another question is, if I were to enter the sport today, would I have done the sport today? And I'm going to probably...
You too could be a ultra world champion.
No, I couldn't. No. If I were to enter the sport at 20 today, put a new version of Herb Perez in. My son, 17. If my son were to enter, and he's different than me because he's flexible and smart at Taekwondo, but would I have chosen this sport? I could tell you, I would not have chosen this sport. I would have chosen, this is a world where if I had a chance, no, it's the same conversation. If it's old school versus new school, it's not a conversation because this isn't Taekwondo. I can't sit here.
I guess I always get lost. What are we considering old school and new school? Like where's the line drawn from? What era of Taekwondo?
It's like old school rap and new
school.
There isn't. But let's just go Taekwondo that was. You can make it really simple. Taekwondo that was power based to score, and Taekwondo that was electronic based to score, and you can make that the defining line.
But even that, for example, I like this question, TJ, because, for example, let's say pre-2008, that's when the electronics started coming out, right? 2009.
Yeah.
So
Taekwondo was still good.
I know, 2008, like Beijing Olympics, Athens Olympics, Sydney Olympics, World Championships in Edmonton, 99, 97, Hong Kong, 95, Philippines, or vice versa. Like, think about that. Is old school in the 2000s? To 2008, is it the 90s? Because the 90s were amazing. But I try to shut everybody up because some of these people, they would get killed. These old guys would kill these new guys. They would kick. I'm like, what are we talking about? The best will be the best in that era. Yeah. The best will be the best in this era.
Would Mike Tyson beat Rossi Garciano? Muhammad Ali?
If you cross right now, if you put the best Olympic you know, chest protector fighter in the era of the 80s, he would lose. If you put them into the electronic era, they'd probably lose. I'm not talking about would they evolve. I'm just saying the sport is different. The game is different. The rewards are different. The style is different. The body frame is different. The physical attributes are different. So
in general, the average guy that I see do Taekwondo today would not have survived in old school Taekwondo. They wouldn't even be in the room. They couldn't be in the room.
And vice versa.
Yeah, I couldn't be in this room.
Old school, average old school, somehow they would actually adapt over here.
They'd adapt, but if they change, so in other words, if you took the average old school athlete and mentality, they would win. They would come into this and win. They'd find a way to win. Now the rules have developed a certain type of body type for this sport. I'm going to call it a sport, this game, whatever it is. And that particular, it's not, and you're right, it's not universal. You couldn't take these guys moving back here and they'd win. Couldn't take these guys. But you could take these guys, the group of guys that I'm thinking about. You could take a Jungkook Young. You could take a Jung Young Sum. You could take a Jimmy Kim. You could take pretty much anybody from the old school Taekwondo team, put them in this world, and they'd find a way to win because that's what they do.
This is where I'm going to go with this. Let's just talk about the mentality, the mindset, and the physicality. That's what I'm talking about. Because even if you say they don't have the skill sets, their mind and how crazy they were and the way they are fighting, I think they have a chance to adapt. Most of the fighters nowadays, I don't think so. And
again, at some point, you guys were going 3-minute rounds, right?
Yeah.
At some point, you were going 3-minute rounds, and there was no such thing as a gap. You got gap when you got dragged out of the ring. Yeah. You couldn't pretty boy me for 3 minutes or 2 minutes. You know what I mean? You couldn't touch my earlobe and be there. And I'm not saying this is good or bad. I'm just saying that, like, for me, and I always defend it when I'm arguing with, the grandmaster down there. I always defend where we are currently in our sport because
me too.
I think there is a when you talk about mentality, the best of the best have a mentality and they push it into the system and they go win, right? That's just how it works. And I get that. But when we start comparing what you had to do to be in a match, you didn't get to complain about getting kicked in the leg or like you were going to get kicked in the leg. I was aiming for your leg.
Right.
Yeah, I was trying to kick you in the knee. You know what, TJ? I guess maybe the bigger question is like this was just a gaslight.
I think so, for sure.
There's a gaslight thread that came out, and I'm just kind of like, okay.
Why didn't I see it? In other words, this guy can't find me. He should say, whoever you are, if you're listening, because you're at home playing video games and masturbating. Why didn't he send me a personal? He could send me a note. He could ask me that question. I'll help him. I'll educate him.
It wasn't about
someone else. I think someone wrote something random.
Somebody wrote.
Yeah. All right, I'm just letting you know. I'm still here. I ain't going anywhere. I still kick. I do Taekwondo.
I think,
but just to close the loop on it for me, to be honest, if I walked into a room today as a kid and I was looking at the various martial arts that I could do, Taekwondo wouldn't make it to the top of the chart for me. I would do
your old school mentality, but maybe
not
because you know. If your son or someone like your son, if he walked in and like, what? You got chest electronics? It's court over there? You kick it? They might say, that's kind of cool. That's interesting.
I would have done jujitsu. Yeah, I would have done jujitsu. Yeah.
Nah, I think it's one of those funny posts that I think we do every month, once a month. We have.
How come I don't see it? Why? How come I don't see it? Because
it's irrelevant. It's clickbait. It's irrelevant. It's clickbait. It's just kind of like to spur, and then it brings out the trolls.
Is that rage baiting? Is that what they call it? Is that what they call it now?
I call it clickbait.
You don't know what rage baiting is?
I call it clickbaiting.
They have a thing. My daughter tells me that's rage baiting when you say something, trying to get somebody to rage. So it's not hard to do with me. Just mention USA Taekwondo or, my favorite British coach. All right, now.
But that's the thing. I think I'm done raging. I think the rage in me is over a sense because it's like,
I was getting an MLK vibe from you.
No. You last week came in with the hard kumbaya in the whole thing. You were very zen last week, and you said something last week about it's better to be me than it is to be them, and I kind of resonated with me a little bit. It is it is what I've been able to do. I mean, what I've done is what I've done. The rooms that I've been in, like you said, the air that I've been able to breathe, the conversations that I've been privy to because of the levels that I've reached in this game are you can't debate those. And sometimes I try to remember that too. When I think I said it last week, people don't know what they don't know. It's just if we just in this era of people just running their mouths, knowing that they don't know, but they still do it, And I think that's just a generational thing.
It is what it is. Well, sorry, not sorry, guys.
Sorry, not
Definitely
sorry.
not sorry.
Right. It sounds like we got to go because TJ has been very patient about he has something else to do. I think he's got to go train a bunch of elite athletes, and he's got a bunch of white belts that have tested. Now they broke a board. They took the horns off a bull, and they knew his name correctly, so they got their white belts. In my school,
5 miles in the rain.
My school, you get a white belt if you show up. You come to a birthday party, I'll give you a white belt.
Question: when you guys started, did they give you your white belt first day?
Yes.
Did you have your white belt first day? Really?
Yeah. How do you keep? Because you got to remember, they were this uniform. It was this uniform. Yeah. How do you keep your uniform?
They didn't give us. They gave us pants. With the pullovers. Then
did you go to that school where they didn't give you the pants to the uniform and you had to like not wear underwear? Was that the kind of school you went to? Like you had to earn your pants? Like when they gave you the uniform, like did you earn each piece?
You started as a no belt. No, you started as a no belt, and you did whatever the.
I got a uniform and a belt. Yeah,
I know a lot of people do that though. I've heard people do that. I don't do that. I give them a belt right away.
Yeah, I got to get a uniform and a belt. It's if you showed up in the room and they told you to take your shirt off, that's a different kind of school. So I just want to let you know.
Let me finish.
He fell off the rocker real quick.
Hey, real fast.
Don't give video games a bad name, though. I like video games. Don't put those.
What video games, dude? I have not, nor do I have a video game console in this house. That's all I'm going to say. No. My kids go to an Ivy League school.
It's good for cognitive skills as we get up there. It
is.
Oh no! Don't get gum disease. Then you get Alzheimer's. So brush those teeth. Go ahead.
What? Yeah, real fast. Real fast. We have some new peak apparel coming out. It's pretty cool. So we have leggings, tights for females.
Honey, did you check my box? Did I get a box from?
I'll send it to you. The Google form. I heard that. So Mike from Michigan, my man Mike from Michigan.
I already know this is going.
He goes.
The answer is yes.
He said, I did not order the tights because TJ still has not convinced me that they are going to make me kick faster. So I was like,
I'm not ordering a pair of tights. I'm ordering a pair of tights. It's 100% facts that I'm ordering a pair of tights.
I'm ordering a pair.
Hey,
you want to go way back to the day. I have a picture on my phone of the first U.S. team ever to wear spandex, and it was back in and Jimmy Kim was in spandex. It was 1987. We were the first team, and yours truly introduced everybody to long tights, and we all look like Spider-Man. We look like Spider-Man.
I love them for
Nikes.
When I started using them, Nike. I started using them for weight cutting because it kept, you wear shorts, you don't have to wear big pants. You can wear the long tights to still cover your legs and everything. I'm an advocate for tights. MMA fighters do it. Boxers do it. Basketball players do it. Everyone
so if they work for your legs to keep your legs and make them work better, why don't you have a pair of tights on your head?
It's a little different right now.
Why don't you have a tight on your hair? Why don't you wear one of those skull caps to make you think better? I mean, I got this hair. It keeps my head warmer. Yeah, because if it works for your legs and your butt, why wouldn't it work for your forehead? Like you should wear a skull cap. Dude, come on. Assalamu alaikum.
You're cutting weight, but I think you should get a pair too, Coach. You got to get a pair of tights.
First of all,
I got tights.
86, 87 under my Taekwondo.
Wait, hold on a second. Hold on.
I like to split up. I don't wear them just like he's wearing them.
I'm wearing them right now. I'm wearing them right now.
Hey, all right, gotta go. Deuces.
All right, this has been the Warehouse 15.
Sorry, not sorry for that.
Sorry, not sorry. Love you.
I'm sorry for that.